So I liked that how, you don't have to put in so much effort with words when you can talk like that through glances.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Cinecast, the cinema podcast. Today, I am accompanied by Shivangi, who is also a fellow cinephile, and we are going to talk about Udan, the 2010 Bollywood movie, which was directed by Vikramaditya Motwani and written by Vikramaditya Motwani and Anurag Kashyap. I hear that this is your favorite movie, Shivangi. Why is it this your favorite movie?
So the thing is, Udan was a peculiar watch for me. The first time I watched it, I probably couldn't wrap my head around it at that point because it released in 2010, and I think when I watched it I was pretty young, so I just watched it like you can say as a superficial viewing. So I didn't go into the depths of it. Then I rewatched somewhere in college, and I realized that there's so much depth to this story and the narration and the whole way that Udan has been directed. So I have an affinity to any movie that can use silences to its advantage. Udan is one of those movies. So there have been points where there have been stretched, elongated silences, but it does not seem odd. It really shows the a mettle of a director as well as an actor as how they play with silences. And this is one of my favorite movies that have really utilized silences so well.
Yeah, actually, I remember one scene like in which, so when he's telling the story to the old people in the hospital when his brother is hurt, so that time, like in between the story, in between the shots, there are like long stretches of shots. Just he's telling people gathering around him, and we can see him speaking, but we cannot hear anything, not even a background sound.
Exactly. Yes, exactly like that. So there was that one instance right after the movie, like when he had to shut it down, when he was talking about all these things he had written, and when he was telling the whole hospital all these stories, like he had to cut it down because his father walked in.
Yeah.
And right after that, we see that he's come back to collect his younger brother Arjun from the hospital, and he looks towards the bed where that old uncle was, and that bed was empty. And there was like this long pause between him and the nurse, and there were no words exchanged, but you knew what went about there. So I liked that how you don't have to put in so much effort with words when you can talk like that through glances. So it's like very nuanced acting in that terms.
I think he started crying also.
Yes, he started tearing up. Yes. So also I wanted to talk about the poetry that was featured initially in the movie. So there was a poem called "Joote kahan utare the."
Yeah, the first one with Manjot Singh, right?
Yes, yes. So that one was so when you start off the movie, all you think about is okay, these are all what you call bigde bacche because they are like doing all of these things, breaking rules and everything. But then when there was this scene where they get expelled and the principal is looking at Rohan and he says, "Okay, I'm sorry that you're going back home." So at that point, you know that something's off in his life. Something is not okay. That the principal is feeling sad that this expelled child is going back home. And then after that, he talks about that "Joote kahan utare the," a poem that he'd written. And when you listen to the words carefully, it almost feels like it's coming from a point of pain in his life. And it shows that he has forgotten where he's come from, because over the period of the movie you see that his father has not visited him in 8 years. So he basically is on his own. He's grown up in that place. So I feel "Joote kahan utare the" was a metaphor for him, saying that he doesn't remember where he started off.
Or maybe that is a symbol of that he want his father to feel regret, like if he ever gets a chance to tell him that, like he has forgotten where he has placed his son, like he has put his son in a boarding school and he has forgotten about him for 8 years, and since his mother is also not there, there is no connection between the father and son there.
Yeah, the father son dynamic was pretty harsh. Like, as soon as he comes back, all of the restrictions he imposes on him just because he is a father, even though he's like an absentee father because he has no idea what his son been through for the past 8 years. He didn't even care to tell his own son that he has a 6-year-old younger brother. So it completely shows how disconnected both of them were.
Everything I liked is just that they didn't tell the backstory, like what happened with his mother and all. I think if they would have told that, then it would have been a more interesting one. But maybe a couple of minutes scene should be fine because we never know during the course of the film, like what happened to his mother, how he got married to the second one, and then with her also, he has a son, and she also has abandoned him, or she has also died. We don't know, right? So I was thinking about the same thing. When I saw his brother, maybe I thought like maybe they'll show a stepmother at some point of time. Maybe she is not here at this point, but like I was wondering where she was. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that was a bit odd, but then I realized that there were no flashbacks throughout the movie, so probably they just wanted to keep pace like that. But I understand where you're coming from. Like, usually, when someone throws in a fact like, okay, you had a stepmother, you have a stepbrother over here, they give you a little like backstory. They did lack in that aspect.
But I think because it is a Bollywood film, that's why we are expecting a backstory. But if it was a Hollywood film, we wouldn't have expected a backstory. So something like, as Anurag Kashyap himself is a very big fan of Hollywood, great Hollywood directors. So I think maybe he has done this intentionally so as to make us wonder like what is the backstory of this guy. Do you feel so?
That's actually a great point. I actually never thought of it that way. That actually makes a lot of sense now.
So the rebellion thing, do you see? So within the first 5 minutes, we see them getting out, going to a place, and after a few minutes, we see him reciting poetry. So it immediately reminded me of Dead Poet Society.
Yes.
So I thought like there are like striking similarities. Then there was this character, right, whose father was not allowing him to write or act, right. He wanted to do theater. Even the father son dynamic is same in both cases.
Yeah, actually, there was a similarity between the father son aspect, but I feel like the main focal point of the whole thing was completely different in both the movies. Like over here, the focal point was basically from Rohan's point of view, if you look at it,
Yeah.
whereas in Dead Poet Society, it's not that way. It's like a revolving character rather than a focused character over there. There's like a point of view difference, but yeah, along the same lines, you can say. Also, huge shout out to Jimmy Uncle, the savior. Like, I personally feel like when you're dealing with something this harsh and rude in your own family, like the family you turn to when you are getting bullied in life, or like you want support from, and when you realize that person who you're you know going to with all your problems is the one who's bullying you, you feel like you're trapped. You don't have anybody. But over here, at least there was one person, that was Rohan's Jimmy Uncle. So he was like this grounding point in him, like between the two. He was the more level-headed person.
I was just wondering, like, what is the fascination of Bollywood with Ronit Roy as the elder brother or a bad father who is very violent kind of thing. He played the same character, exactly the same character in this movie, Two States, right?
I feel like he's just getting typecasted at this point because if you see, like, he has worked a lot in the industry. If you look at his show Adalat, that was like a completely different Ronit Roy. He was a lawyer who's like righteous and everything. But in Bollywood, he's just been playing like alcoholic dad with anger issues, or like has a really bad equation with the son. You can see that Shakti Kapoor was like typecasted into a villain. Even Amrish Puri was the, you know, so-called Khadu's dad. So probably that's what happened with him. Another scene that really hit me, that was this one scene where Ronit Roy takes his son out to Jamshedpur. Like, we are running, like they all are running. And over there, he comes back around after 41 minutes as timed by Arjun. The camera cuts to Rohan that, he's lying down on the street because he's so exhausted from all the running. And Ronit Roy goes disgraceful. And then after like 2 minutes, as soon as Ronit Roy just goes back, Arjun comes and he says the same thing in the same tone to him, saying disgraceful. So over there, I could see that, they're so hungry for approval because he only had one authoritative figure in his life whose acceptance meant the world to him, that he wanted to turn into him. And over there you could see that, he's turning into a mini version of him. At the end of the movie, this is addressed by Rohan, where he said that he doesn't want Arjun to become a little version.
It was also addressed by his uncle also, Ram Kapoor's character. When he was sending him to Bishop Cotton School, Ronit Roy says, I was also 6 when I was sent to hostel. And then he is also 6, so it is going to be fine. Then he says, like, he's not you. He'll not survive there. Then Rohan says, he's going to become you only if you send him right now.
And the ending in the letter as well, when Ronit Roy finds the letter after Arjun and Rohan leave. In that letter also he had specified that he didn't want Arjun to become another version of him. There was one of him, that's enough. And whatever happens will happen, but he will have a better life than what he would have had here. Another interesting character in Udaan was Appu. Rohan meets in the shady bar kind of place where he goes to escape his father, and they have these banter conversations and everything. And you find out like what's up with Appu. Appu was an interesting factor in Rohan's life because he kind of, went ahead and pushed Rohan to his potential, saying you can stand up to your father. If you don't stand up, sure, his methodology of, pushing him were not the most ideal ones. Saying, oh, what are you going to do about it? You're going to cry like a girl and stuff. So all of that was just to trigger him, but somehow that worked in Rohan's favor. So I'll call it a win.
Yeah, so even though he shows like he's a very masculine character or something, but deep down he's a very sensitive guy, because the first time he meets Rohan, he was dragging him and then he says, no, you'll do sit-ups. And then he tells him how to do sit-ups, and along with he does that also. And then he starts singing, and then they make fun of him. And then eventually he says like, you always call me, you always do this to me. This guy laughed, and he didn't even care that this junior who he was ragging laughed on him. I think if it would have been someone else who was actually not very sensitive, he would have punished him for laughing on him, right?
Yeah, like when you think of a scenario of such where you meet all these kind of goons in said shady areas, you expect them to be like the violent kinds, the one who'll get offended easily, who'll try to get into a brawl for no particular reason. But over here, it was just like a man trying to hide his insecurities and stuff. Like, in that was just a farce. He was actually a very understanding person. He understood where Rohan was coming from. He understood what he needed. Even though like he didn't want to show that, oh yeah, I'm helping you and I'm your friend. He in his own unique way helped him out somehow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And another thing, you just can't talk about Udaan without mentioning its music. I am utterly blown up by this music because I've come across a lot of albums, and there's always this one song which you're just like, okay, this could have been better, this not that catchy. But in Udaan, to me, I felt each and every song was so well written, the lyrics were so well thought out, music so beautifully incorporated in the movie, that I just feel like Udaan was like a plus in direction, screenplay, acting, writing, as well as music. This was like a whole package.
Wasn't this Amit Trivedi's like claim to fame?
Yes, I'm telling you that man has blossomed.
I agree with you. Amit Trivedi is a great artist. Like whatever he does, he makes sure that he gets the best out of him as well as everyone else in the studio with him.
Truly, especially Azadiya. Azadiya is featured initially as well as at the end. So it just like I feel like it is such a good metaphor because in the initial scenes when Azadiya was playing, it felt like it was talking about how this person's going from boarding school to home. So that's like there's Azadiya now. But then you go home and you find that this just a caged place, and then at the end when he defies his father and takes Arjun with him and this song's playing, it just it
Yeah,
just hits you more and you're just like, oh, this is so apt. Yeah, that's why I just feel like Rajat Barmecha surely is very underrated. Like, I don't understand why he has not featured in more work ever since Udan, because I feel like he did a great job. So it's just sad that, the talent like that has not been utilized in Bollywood.
Yeah, agreed.
I just want him to like have his claim to fame like Rohit Saraf had. Like Rohit Saraf, I've been following since 2017. It's after like 3 years he's finally got his break. Like everybody's recognizing him. I want the same for Rajat.
Yeah, Rohit Saraf I have seen in some TV show 3 4 years back.
Yeah, yeah,
There is this one thing which I like, which I couldn't help but notice, that if he's expelled from the school, how can he get admission in an engineering college directly?
yeah. That was a big question mark for me as well. And I was like, for having a background in engineering, that you have to struggle so much to get into an engineering college. You have to go through all these tests and exams, and have this report card ready, which specifically says that you have passed your 12th grade and everything. But then again, it's Bollywood, so they don't go into technicalities. You can say he got a management seat or something.
No, no. So that I have no issue with. But if he has, like, if he was expelled from college, school, then how did he pass his 12th standard? Probably the next day he arrives in Jamshedpur. I didn't understand that. How he can go to college from the very next day after coming from school.
I really can't explain that one because that's a mystery for everybody. There is always like some loophole in every movie where it's just not like relating to realities of life. You can say that this was like a very small, minute detail that they did not give a lot of information about, but it didn't play that much of a trivial,
Yeah.
role. But yeah, that's a very valid question. How did he get into a college?
Thank you, Shivangi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abhishek. This was great.
I should thank you because you obliged to come on to this